Okay, here's a little fast, kind of shreddy sounding, raunchy lick, and it's going to go like this. It's just a little pull-off thing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our ring finger on the 5th fret of the high E right there, and index finger to the 3rd fret of the high E, and we just pull them kind of down and off. It's not just coming off straight off, it's coming down with a downward motion so it'll make that open string ring out when the finger comes off. That was over exaggerated, but here it is when I just pull it straight off. And here it is with a flick off motion. So we're going to pull off with that, and that finger is planted, then we pull that off. So it ends up looking like this. Okay, then you can do it on the B string as well. And so that would mean you could combine them in either order there. Alright, so the other trick I want to show you, besides that one, and this isn't a trick, this is another one of those, sometimes you could refer to it as a cadence. It's kind of like an end of a phrase, the phrase kind of feels like it's over. And there's a lot of different variations of it, but here's how it goes. Okay? Now, it's not a specific lick. It's a little concept that's always in this lower row. Watch out for the low strings when you're playing with other guitar players and it's real busy. The lower strings tend to get a little muddy in the mix. Hendrix did it a lot because he was in a power trio with just drums and bass, so he needed to fill up that space. But typically when you're in a band with more instruments, this kind of muddy area of the low strings is really being covered a lot by the rhythm guitar or keyboards, so have you, and all that other. So it goes like this. It's always got something like that. So we're hammering on the 2nd fret of the D string there. We're not going. We're going. So the first one is that. So I'm hammering this, then open, then down the blues scale. So 2-0, 2-1, 0, 3, and then O. Now watch, I can just repeat the first 2 notes of that lick. The other thing I can do is, instead of playing the low E, before I get to that note, I go right back to that second fret of the D, which is the octave up of that same note. Watch. You do the low, then the high. See that? The next variation is adding this into the mix, which is going to be, check it out, it's with the blues note. We're hammering on and pulling off this blues note, which is the first fret of the A string, like that. But as soon as we pull it off, we're getting our ring finger to the third fret of the low E. Really slow. So one way was like this, all the way down, then the hammer-on pull off to the third fret. So, right? But then the other way is to go right into it without that open A first. Like that. Here's the two differences again, check it out. With the open A first, then the little move. Here it is without the move. Now, as you get better with it, you could use your pinky instead of your ring finger. But some people have problems using their pinky, so I always kind of teach it with the ring finger. But I use my pinky a lot on that lick. Check it out. You can repeat. Just like you're repeating this. So that cadence that I'm referring to it as a cadence, it does exist up in that main position we were focused on for so long there. There's just no open strings. It looks like your box. You got your root right there, and you've got this pentatonic box right here. So the notes that we're doing, anything on this 12th fret is the exact same thing we're using the open strings for right here. So it would look like this. sorry. And then this thing looks like this. You have to plant your index finger on the 12th fret of the A string there, and then you're hammering on, pulling off between the 12 and 13 with your middle finger. And then pinky to the 15th of the low E right there. So what I like, the concept with that is, a lot of licks, especially on the guitar soloing when you're playing in a band, you're kind of focused more on maybe the D, G, B, and high E. They're the strings that really cut through, right? And a lot of your licks and phrases, not all of them, but a lot of them end on that root note right there. And when you have those phrases end, you can actually then do that thing I called a cadence. See that? So you can extend out your lick.